So yesterday I did quite a bit on the car, quite a few projects which I started but couldn't finish. The first one is the exhaust. I've got a stainless steel exhaust from Paddocks, which sort of, it's okay. I mean, it's not great quality. I mean, you can see here, it's really, they've relied on a lot of weld to put it together, and if you look at that, it doesn't really sit square, that bracket on that tube, so it's not brilliant. And at the moment I can't really get it to sit straight in the car, but that's basically because I haven't got the manifold on properly, nor have I tightened up all of the clamps, because the bracket, the fitting kit that I got from Paddocks as well, came with only half the bits in it, which is just typical. But there it is. I'll have to go back to them and probably have to argue the fact that they've got to send me a new one, but hopefully they will. So yeah, that's where we got to on the exhaust. I unfortunately broke one of the studs on the manifold, which is really annoying, which broke inside the, don't know if you can see that, inside the manifold itself, so one of the studs broke in there, which is really annoying. I mean, they only cost about 40 quid new, these things, but it's still 40 quid, and that was the original one. I could try and drill it out, which I will do today, but I'm not very good at doing that, and you need a lot of patience and a lot of precision, and then I've probably got to re-tap it. It's all possible, I've seen it done before, but it's, as I say, not something I'm very good at. But we'll try today, see how we get on. Otherwise, what else have I got to do here? Yeah, I reused the old wiring harness, cleaned up the terminals, and this is the original alternator. We'll see if that works or not. Still haven't tested it, but it's no big deal if it doesn't. I'll just get another one. And I put in the rear harness as well, which you can see here, using these grommets. Well, they only sent one actually. They needed to send two, but they only sent one. I got that from Auto Sparks, I think it was. I think they're virtually the only people who make them. I've got to check which way round this goes. I'm not sure if that's correct. Or maybe it doesn't matter, I don't know. But anyway, the loom runs inside the chassis there. It's a bit of a fiddle trying to get it out, but I used, or get it through at least, but I used some old cable, which I actually just pulled off the wall here because there's tons of it going nowhere. Anyway, so I used that. Twin and earth I used. Anyway, and then attached some strings to it because I brought it through in with two strings because there's quite big, you know, two lengths that come through at the end. It forks at the end. So they put two grommets on here, which I thought were for the chassis, and I was looking forever for another hole in this part of the chassis because I thought it ran through here, but it doesn't. That grommet there and that grommet there go through the body of the car, which I checked because I've got the body of it out front there. But I have bought another grommet for here, which I fear is too small, but we shall see. Other than that, I fitted the prop shafts. Yesterday, I've got to find two more bolts for the rear prop shaft. But I painted them, re-greased them, make sure all the grease nipples worked. Got a new gaiter for that there. Can't really see it very well. But they're all in. The constant disaster I seem to be having with these cross members, you can see that's not the original one I had in there, but it's another one they've sent me. But both of the cross members, these are bolt-up cross members that they've sent me, don't match. Or what I should say is they're never quite the right size, which is really annoying because it slowed me down last time, and then they got them to send me another one, and I said, do check it before you send it. But they obviously didn't. They just sent it out in a rush, and it's also wrong, which is really annoying. It's one of the biggest frustrations I have with this project is when you have to rely on other people for parts, because like the brackets for the fitting kit for the exhaust, only half of it was there. The cross member never fits. They send you the wrong part. It's just endless, absolutely endless. But there it is. I guess that's the joys, in inverted commas, of doing a project like this. I'm now slightly over 2 years into this project, which might seem like a long time, but I think realistically, if you're considering a restoration project like this, you've just got to expect it's going to take years rather than months, unless you're doing it professionally and you do it every single day. But at the moment I've been doing one whole weekend a month, so it's not much, but possibly more than some. And I've also got the luxury of a garage here, which is really lucky. Whereas I know some people do it outside their house or in a garage or whatever. But there it is. So what else have I done? Yeah, today I'm just finishing off the wiring harness. I mean, really, in an ideal world, I would replace this entire harness, because you can't see it, but these cables here are quite solid because they've got hot over the years of use. But I'm reusing them. I'm sort of, that's the thermostat, which the little tab broke off there. Just sort of replacing it. I've got some new insulation tape to go around there today. But if it still works, then why replace it at this stage? So yeah, today I'm just going to try and finish off, tighten up the right torque settings for those CV joints there, front and back, and I have to leave the exhaust as it is because, as I say, I haven't got the parts. And yeah, see how we get on. I'm not going to do the whole day today, I hope, because it's lovely outside, and as you can hear, that 3-phase incomer in the background is singing a lovely tune, which is really annoying. I've put loads of stuff over it to try and stop it from making too much noise, but it doesn't really help. So I'll see how long I can last. I actually wore earmuffs yesterday most of the day because it just drove me mad, but there we are. So that's where we're at. So this is the Fairey Overdrive, which I've just started cleaning up to put back on. I bought an overhaul kit from Paddocks. I actually bought 2 because they said they've only got 10 left or something and they're not making any more. But actually all they consist of is the large gasket for here, a smaller one for I don't know where yet, and a paper and a cork gasket. Obviously there's 2 of each there because I ordered 2, but that obviously goes on between there and the main gearbox, or at least the transfer case, and that cork one goes on there. Just to look inside, see anything in there? Looks like there's a synchro mesh in there, number of gears. I don't really know much about the Fairey Overdrive, but I've sort of decided not to take it apart. When I took this cap off, I found those pieces of metal in there, which is rather disconcerting. Not quite sure what they are. Rather strange. Oops. But yeah, cleaned it up a bit, and I think just put it back together. I think to get that gasket off, you've got to take the whole thing apart, and I don't fancy doing that. I'm bound to break something that wasn't broken before. So I'm going to leave it and put it back together. So I've got a few more things done today. I took the Fairey Overdrive apart, but not completely. I was going to refurbish it, but realised that actually taking it apart to put all the new oil seals in, I thought I might leave it, as I showed in the video before. But otherwise I got the linkage on, put it all back together with new seals in here, 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 and so on. Haven't filled it up with oil yet, but put the linkage back on. Put the low and high range back on. I need one more bolt for that, and yeah, exhaust is placed on. Whoops, pretty quick. Otherwise, did some new connections down here on the oil pressure gauge and on the thermostat in there. And yeah, fitted a new, I can't remember what this is called, new one of those anyway. Oh. Put that back in. So yeah, I broke a stud on here yesterday, and was able to, on the other side around here, I was able to drill it out and re-tap the hole. That's just sort of temporarily fixed at the moment, the exhaust. It's an aluminium, no, not aluminium, it's a stainless steel exhaust, which is a bit wonky at the back there, but I'm sure we'll sort that out. So other than that, what else did I do? I think that was it. Oh yeah, and respraying stuff. I seem to have a bit of an issue at the moment with the gloss paint. I don't know if it's the humidity or something to do with the air, but anything that I spray turns to like a mottled matte colour, and it has like a wet covering to it, which is really weird. But anyway, so that's where we're at. That's the progress for this week, and indeed this month, because I'm not coming back again this month. But yeah, pretty pleased with that. I think the next stage will be to put on the bulkhead, and then just to see what needs doing. I've got the bulkhead over here. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. The top section's absolutely fine. Footwells I have in that box there, but the A pillars or the A posts, they need to be redone. So there's quite a lot of work, but that's the next stage. I'm going to put it onto the chassis next time I'm over, I think, and see what needs doing. I'll also put the handbrake on next time I'm over. Obviously the drum's on, but the mechanism I'll put on next time. Yeah, but that's where we're at.